So, Comrade Fusi, if you are here, forgive me with your surname, leadership. And then, Comrade Lulama, you are not in my program, but because you are here, yeah, but I'm going to use you because you are here. Beautiful. Okay, that is the task of Comrade Noctulas, one that's going to do introductions. And the purpose, mine was just to let you know that we're starting now. Comrades, in closing, the reason why we chose, maybe you saw when we advertised that we're going to have a dialogue with the executive mayor of Mangau, is primarily because our office is focusing on entrepreneurship. I'm sure you even saw in the poster we said youth in business. We're still gonna come with women, we're still gonna come with people with disability, but today our focus is gonna be only on youth in business. We're not going to hold a very long, discussion and all of that. 90% of the time we'll be asking questions. That is why you see we don't even have followed that our internal protocol. Leadership is seated with you; they are not segregated there, so that you can ask a question and then Comrade Lunama can respond there. So my boss here. Comrade Sipo, number seated here, he's very, below, down there on the program, because he's a listener. He wishes to listen so that he can be able to respond later on. So that is how the program is going to go. Like, lastly, comrades, we are here to seek solutions. Because when I came into the office, I was also, not disgruntled, but I had my own issues. No, ANC's not listening to us, all of that. We created this platform so that we can be able to engage on matters. So it's not going to be a complaint session. Please don't complain. Raise your issues sharply, succinctly, so that leadership can respond. And then not even leadership for that matter. If anybody in the room actually has information regarding the questions that we'll be asking, so that we can be able to assist each other. And then I think that system of whether you are 35 or not will apply it when you go to food. I will let you go for now. So when we eat, we are going to be very, very strict. Without wasting any further time, let me take this moment and call my colleague in the MTMT, Comrade Noktula, to give us a purpose of the. Let's give her a round of applause. Comrade Noktula.
Thank you very much, Ntate Tinani. Greetings to everyone in the room. The regional treasurer of Mangaung, Comrade Sipo, our chair as well, and the REC members that are present, the leadership of the Women's League, the convener, Comrade Lula Matiti, Comrade Nolita Ndungana, Chief Whip of the council at Mangaung, Comrade Vumile Nikelo. We salute, I also saw Comrade Mutsewa Tladi. All protocol observed. Thank you so much, comrades, for being here. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us. As briefly explained by Comrade CD, so the purpose of this session is just to interact and network with comrades, especially youth, because this is Youth Month. We are having several programs that continue throughout the year. And our focus is basically on small businesses, small enterprises, because we see the importance of economic development and actually having small enterprises being the ones that will be driving the economy. And what we are trying to do is set up a link where we can at least achieve, at least in our lifetime, Comrade Sipo, establishing an economic development agency within Mangaung region. Because you would find that most of the issues that our young people and old in business are faced with is that there really isn't any pragmatic economic development that is realizable at the current moment. And we would like to change the status quo and change the narrative with regard to that. So the purpose of this session was just to have youth-owned businesses under the roof so that we get to actually have an interaction where it's not normally just a top-down approach where government will come in and say, Uguti, this is what we think will work. Then they struggle with implementation because it's what they thought will work, but not necessarily what is needed on the ground. So we want to be here, come here, get to hear what businesses want, what they think can make the environment conducive, because we are trying to assist and actually meet government halfway in creating this enabling environment where our small businesses will be able to thrive. So when it's a bottom-up approach, we know if we are here and we get to hear it from the people that are running businesses, then we also know, okay, if we were to advocate for policy changes, or if we were to advocate for a line of march, at least we were guided by what the small businesses have presented to us, and we move along in that path so that at least everyone is on par and we are taking everyone with us, so that no one is getting left behind and no one is moving in different directions. I will just introduce our guests that are here, and it's still an ANC event, so I will just say, Biza, at least just no mungati amandla, tabacha, whatever. So I will start with the provincial coordinator of the ANC Women's League, Comrade Nolita Ndungana. Please greet the comrades. Comrade Lula Matiti, the ANC Women's League convener in the province and also the MMC of Finance at Mangaung. Comrade Mutewa Tladi. Comrade Vumile Nikelo. I think, Chair, can I not include you now? Because normally umuntu shy. So he's the observer, but he's observing like this. Nazi makangavala, uzoyivala lento. Uzoyivala nani nizosala nimangele, but we'll allow the chair to speak later, because he will be given an opportunity to actually deliver just a brief speech to all of us. Thank you very much, Ntate Tinan.
Amandla Conference. In church, it's like I'm saying Amen. Thank you very much, Comrade Noktula. Comrade Noktula, I think you omitted the deputy chairperson of ANC Youth League in Mangaung. Comrade, where are you? Yes. Okay, are they youth, by the way? They are REC. No, we're from townships. Comrade Doctor, we used to have two
members present. I'm not going to call all your names, but I think if they can stand, because it's Youth Month, actually this thing ingabo. So I would have just made a very, very big mistake. I'm sorry, comrades. Please just stand so that comrades see you, and also greet comrades. Good morning. I also saw the deputy chairperson. And I think earlier I also saw REC member, ANC, Comrade Ngamile, the spokesperson. I don't know if, oh, okay. Now we are acknowledging him as well, in absentia. Thank you, comrades.
Thank you, Comrade Doctor. Before you go, I'm going to tell you who you forgot, so you can come back again. I'm kidding. Okay, comrades, thank you very much, Comrade Noktula, for opening for us. I have to check with my colleagues there. Comrade Bitumelo, is Comrade Vusi here? Okay. Do you have any arrangement for opening? Or do we wait for him? We can wait for 3 hours if. Yes. Okay. Chief Whip, you remember when we were in Butavelo in a hall full of white people? You were hijacked there when we were busy complaining that. So please open for us. Comrades, let's welcome our Chief Whip in the caucus of the ANC, Comrade Vumile Nikelo. We call him Doctor. Rebulela Metapir. Yeah.
No, by the way, it's fine. When you are welcoming people, you don't have to talk a lot. You just say in few words. you are all welcomed. And then you hand over the mic. Okay. That's how it's done. And that is what I was requested to do. But then let me just steal another minute or so. Firstly, provincial convener and the coordinator. It looks like I'm the only one who's patriotic. The women's of this country, the netball, they will be playing the tournament, for that matter, the World Cup. And as a result of that, we should all be patriotic in terms of supporting them. We have done it in 2010 when the boys were playing. But now when the girls are playing, we're not doing it. So I think, Comrade Nolita, that is the campaign that we need to start, earnestly, so that we give them the necessary support so that they can gather the strength and momentum to make sure that the World Cup remain in South Africa. At least Bona, they are not like the boys. They just qualified because they were the hosts, but the girls are not, they did not qualify because they are the host. They qualified because they are number 5 in the world. And again, I just want to say, Chair, briefly, we really welcome this initiative. It's a very good one, especially during the month of young people, to start engaging with young people who are in business. And when you engage with young people in business, you are making sure that at least we all participate and play an important role towards the economy of Mangaung. If you can remember well, there are no major economic activities that are happening within our region, especially in Mangaung. And as a result of that, in most of the time, many people, they end up thinking, regional treasure, that the only biggest employer is government. That is why majority of us, we're fighting to become councillors, we're fighting to work in governance in Mangaung. We only want to be employed. But there has never been a time where young people are saying on their own, we need to make sure that we take charge of the responsibility. We become the employers. That is why even when our young people, they start looking, beyond the metric, you see many young people, they just want to be teachers, they just want to be, they want, after the graduation, they just want to put an envelope and put it here. And then it becomes old, tape, because they are looking for job opportunities. They cannot create ones. So it is time that we start doing that. And that is why I'm saying we welcome this particular initiative, because it's very critical for us in Mangaung. Over and above that, one thing that I would like to invite you all to ensure is to also participate actively MMC Finance. When we are reviewing some of the policies within the institution in Mangaung, we make sure that those policies, in line with your SDF, your economic development, and so on, we make sure that those policies, they are user-friendly towards ensuring that they assist us. They become catalytic in terms of making sure that the environment is conducive for all of us to do business in Mangaung, for all of us to create work opportunities. So as a result of that, this initiative is very much great. It's an opportunity that we need to make sure that we involve all young people throughout the region, Comrade Sipho. I so wish that today is in Bloemfontein, tomorrow it can go to Botshabelo and Tabanchu, and make sure that we meet these young people in all the corners of the area, so that they are actively participating and actively involved. So in so saying, I want to say to all of us, because kutwe mandinamkele, niyamkelekile nonke. Welcome, and make sure that you feel free to engage on everything and anything that you think it would start shaping the program of the African National Congress and the ANC Youth League towards emancipation of young people, build them, equip them with all the necessary technical expertise that will make sure that their businesses become sustainable. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Comrade Doctor. You see what you attempted to do earlier, leadership. You're a politician, so you can't say Ndiavula and you leave. No, you had to say something. It's endemic in us as politicians. Comrades, let's move right along with the program. Our time is very limited here. Let me introduce my other boss. Where is Dade Supiwe? You know, I only, Comrade Paseka, only. My bosses are my height. If you are taller than me, you can't be my boss. It's a rule. It's strict. Before I allow Comrade Noktula to come back, comrades, let me introduce my team. We work in the management committee in the office of the regional treasurer. We have, I will introduce our heads. Our first head is Comrade Paseka, who is there. Dumelisa Makomo leadership. Yes. Yes, he's our head of training and development. We are doing extensive work with regards to training our branch treasurers. Let me introduce, I am lacking a lot of my heads here. Comrade Sizwe Zingetwa is the head of research and development. He's not feeling very well. He's not here, but my team is here. Comrade Lulu is there. That's my team. Comrade Sia is there. Comrade Valdez is there. Comrade Witumelo is there. Leadership. Yes, that's my team who are working together in the office. So we are a parliament of the office of the regional treasurer. This is the functional team, chief whip, that is doing work on a daily basis. And then our mandate is single, economic development, nothing else. You see, issues of maybe international relations and all of that, we'll leave them to you. But our mandate is one. So, comrades, before I take, Comrade Noktula, you ready? Oh, thank you so much. Comrade Noktula is going to give us the purpose of the session, why we are here. So I don't want to talk a lot because later on I will be facilitating a session with the acting executive mayor when he arrives. So these other things I will allocate them to my team. So let's give Comrade Noktula another round of applause to come back.
Thank you so much, comrades. I guess today is my day, man. But in essence, honestly, economic development, this is me just improvising. Economic development is something that is close to my heart, something I'm passionate about because I'm a development economist. And as the team, we actually see the gap, Yoguti, especially when it comes to the local government space. You would find that we have departments, the economic development, LED, as it's known, but our LED departments are not really functional. And we can link this to the fact that maybe there's a lack of skills and capacity with the officials that we have in those departments. So it is hindering the success and actually what economic development is supposed to be doing within our communities. So we are here trying, like I did say earlier, we are here trying to get the gist of what is expected of us so that we can address those issues, assisting government as well, and the private sector, and civil-based organizations and everyone. Because economic development is not just the one-man show, but it actually needs all institutional arrangements in one room. It needs all of you to be part and parcel so that we can actually try and see the pragmatic economic development happening within our societies. So we are here to say, small businesses, you are here, you might have an idea, you might already be operating, and maybe it's a pity that I see officials from Mangaung leaving, our principals from Mangaung leaving, but it's just to say, once we've heard everything here, small businesses have an idea. I have a tire business, for example, and I want to uguti in the location when umuntu ashai pothole, because it's one of the challenges that we have. You would want to assist that small business with equipment. And gone are those days when you would use lento le yabakapa uguti bakipe irim, but you would want to buy that young person equipment where you know, okay, if you can't go to Tiger Wheels and Tire now super quick, you know, okay, there's Noktula's tire business, Buchabel. You know, so in essence, we want to assist you in that regard, not only just as small businesses, but across the different sectors that you have. You might be in agriculture. We know that, okay, you are busy maybe with a food garden that you are having, which can supply those vegetables to schools, to ECDs within the community. You can supply it to hospitals, your public hospitals within the metro. So we would want to assist and be the link between you as small businesses and government in this case. And we would want to have the buy-in of big businesses. We would want to formalize this sector, which is mostly informal. I think you would find, Uche, I think, might speak to that later on, where small businesses are actually just only contributing a smaller percentage than what is needed for the economy to thrive. So if we are here, we are under one roof as small businesses, and we are saying, Guti, we are ready, and we know, Guti, not every one of us or all young people in our communities can get employed in the public sector or in private sector, but these young people can start a business, and once my business expands, I can employ 2 or 3 other young people. Then it's also lessening the burden for government. So it's basically just to say we are here and we want to assist, we want to be the link between you and government so that everyone becomes happy. As the ANC, we care about you guys, you are our communities. We have targets that we need to meet. We have policy resolutions that we have taken. And it's time that we start implementing those resolutions. And this MT group is saying, okay, now we want to be doing the actual work. We want to have a program of action that is going to address the things that are raised by our communities, by our small businesses. We want to take everyone with us so that tomorrow you can say, Guti, I started just with 10 chickens, but now I have a big broiler poultry farming business where my eggs can be supplying all these other places. You can be taking your chickens, was good, you are selling your chickens, and sometimes even get to sell outside the province. We have a fresh produce market in Mangaung. Those vegetables that are sold there, zipuma gupi. So if you have young people in agriculture, you are saying, okay, Mina, I'm planting spinach, I'm planting green peppers, I'm planting whatever. We want to link you up so that whatever you have can be brought into this mainstream local economy where you will have a stable income every month. You know, good, okay, with just the small businesses that we have within the region, at least we know, Guti, our people may not be employed, but when they become their own bosses, when they start businesses, they'll be able to generate an income that will be able to sustain them. But we also, in the process, want to be speaking to small businesses to say, if you have a car wash, and Noktula comes and says, can I wash my car? I will pay on Monday. On Monday, when Noktula comes and pays back, it must not be the same 50 rand that you charge for car wash. You must be able to say, we are going to charge you 70 rand because you bought on credit. So we want to install that mindset, Yoguti. Young people's businesses shouldn't be functioning from hand to mouth. They should actually be profit-making businesses. They should have their checks and balances, have their books in order, so that even when they have to go and apply for funding elsewhere, which we will be intermediaries within that space, then we know Guti, young people actually have a vision for their businesses, and it's to have a business that is sustainable, because we wouldn't want to come down 24 months down the line, then the business is shut. So we want to walk this journey with you, with your youth SMMEs, give you share opportunities that we might get from other stakeholders that we are engaging. We are we're having a program where we are interacting with different stakeholders, and in this case, it's youth. Initially, we had spoken to businesses as well, But we want to go to your farmers. We want to go to all these other sectors, knowing that if we can work together, and then we can meet each other halfway. We can have whatever funds we will get there and have them mentor you, even if it's not financial, but they can give you non-capital support where they're mentoring you, because at the end, we want your business to be sustainable. We want your business to function. And this is just the purpose of this session, to say, let's come into one roof, let's put our minds together. Young people are the most innovative. So if you are here to share your ideas, at least Nati Masis draft this program of action, and which will feed into this development agency concept document that we are preparing to establish in Mangaung. Then we know where do we start and what is expected of us and how do we move going forward. Ntate Nani, I think with that being said, thank you for the opportunity, my brother. I will hand over. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Comrade Noctul. Comrade Sipo, I called her again, Najer, because she did not, I mean, initially, we introduced the Batu, and then I introduced the Batu, because on the program is a introduction and the purpose. So thank you for doing what I requested you to do, eventually. Thank you, Comrade Noctula. Moving right ahead, comrades, with the program, I'm going to call the Deputy Chair of the ANC Youth League in the region. That's where I spent a very long time, Comrade Doctor. I don't know how long I spent in the Youth League. Yo. Let's give him a round of applause to give us a message of support. Thank you so much. And a leadership, you see you and I are almost the same height, ne? So our speech must almost, reflect our height as well. Or is it? No, 5 minutes more, just to cover that height. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tate. Amandla. Awethu. Amandla. No, thank you very much, Program Director. I will not observe protocol any longer because already we have observed protocol. In this month of June, just to start, I want to say, in commemoration of the generation of 1976, as we celebrate the undying spirits of young people of 1976, we still continue to celebrate them even today. But we want to say to the generation of 1976 that as progressive as they were, they must continue to be progressive even today. They must slowly but surely hand over to the generation of today. They must not be the gatekeepers of today because they were progressive in the past, and we expect them that today they continue to be progressive. We no longer request them to give young people space. We will demand that they give young people space. Because when you look at the country, comrades, the country is no longer getting young. The country is young. And we must start to see that the country is young in government. We must start to see the country is young in entrepreneurship, in all spheres of government and society in general. Because at this point, when you look at unemployment in the country, unemployment has a face. Unemployment is young people. When you look at social ills in the country, it has a face, it's young people. When you look at substance abuse, it's young people. So somehow we need to change that picture. We need to change that picture and afford young people space. And when we say that we must give young people space, we are not only talking about political space, comrades. We are not only saying that young people must lead the ANC and other political parties at a level of politics. We are also saying that they must lead in business. They must lead in government. So we're saying this progressive generation of 1976 must continue to be progressive, comrades. By doing that, then they are going to save young people from the plight that young people are suffering today. I will make just a small example about Mangaung before I conclude. That you know in Free State, government is the biggest giver of business. Government holds about 80%. Small businesses is doing transactions with government. About 80% of those transactions belong to government. So we can no longer have a government that is failing year in, year out. We can no longer have a Mangaung that is year in, year out having qualified audits. We can no longer year in, year out having a Mangaung that is collapsing in the council, that is collapsing in the administration. Because if we continue to go that route, you can imagine the chain reaction that it has on the lives of people who are running small businesses. It's not only affecting small businesses, it goes down as a chain reaction to affecting families and everybody else who depends on small business, especially in Mangaung. I want to speak about Mangaung a lot because I want to bring it home. So Chief Whip, with your council that is here, was saying it is no longer acceptable that Mangaung continues to fail. But with the leadership that we have now, we have trust that Mangaung will no longer fail, and small businesses, as we are here today convening them, that they have hope. If Mangaung doesn't fail, they do business with Mangaung, then we are going somewhere. The ANC Youth League comrades, they are on a program to make education fashionable. In the past, in the generation of 1976, when they fought their battles, they would use bazookas, AK-47s. In the struggle that we are facing today, we are going to use education as AK-47s. We are going to use entrepreneurship as our bazookas. That is the struggle we are facing today. We are no longer going to use AK-47. So we'll always advocate as the ANC Youth League that education must be fashionable. Young people must go to school, young people must have skill, they must have capacity. Because the fight we are fighting today, that is what is required of us. Education is our new AK-47. This is the instrument that we are going to use to fight and win this battle. As I conclude, comrades, I just want to concur with what Comrade Nokuthula was saying, that the purpose of today, and I hope that it goes beyond today and we continue to have a relationship, an ongoing relationship beyond today. That it's very important that business does not isolate itself because it is functioning within a political context. So business and politics, somehow, that is one thing. Business must inform decisions of politicians, and politicians must also be able to influence business to a certain extent. I just want to make you an example of the business and political relationship that we are having today. It's a abusive relationship, both ways, because the relationship that business is having with government, when they see government, they look at it as a cash cow. That is where they're going to make money, but government also needs business to play their part and assist them in the process. In the process, it's not everybody that is going to work in the municipality at a space of government. So that is where business must come in to assist government with employing other young people so that the burden is not so heavy and on government. And also another abusive relationship we're having that must stop, comrades, is government and business and politicians. The relationship they have with business is when they give them business, they want kickbacks, lidi chocho. We're saying it's no longer acceptable, that kind of relationship. It's an abusive relationship. We want from today on moving forward, that young people who are aspiring to be in business or who are already in business, that they must have a relationship with politicians, with politics. I know most of them, because of arrogance, they will not want to be associated with politics. I say it's arrogance because I don't think it is a fully informed decision. But it's going to be very important moving forward that business must have a relationship with politicians. At the end of the day, these are the people that must assist us to inform our decision making when we go to policy conferences. When council sits, the business is the same people that must inform our decisions on what must happen, what is working and what is not working. With that, comrades, I don't want to speak for a long time, but I hope today we have planted a seed and will continue to have other sessions outside of this. But we must no longer allow ourselves to speak politics without economics. We must speak politics that has economics, that includes business, that builds a relationship with business. With that being said, I support the program of today, and I hope it is the start of a very progressive relationship moving forward. Mandla.
Thank you very much. At last, we have Youth League with content. This is exactly what we wanted, leadership. You know, Rona, we are coming from a very interesting era of the Youth League. Thank you very much. Oh, it's not on. Can you hear me? Oh, this is actually way much better. Because some of us, comrades, people are contested by this technology when we are old. Thank you very much, Deputy Chair. Comrades, let's give it a bit, even, how do I put it, better context. No? We are launching our Youth Month program today. To a certain extent, it's going to be a long-term program because we are waiting for our stakeholders committee. It's one of the committees within the MTMT. We started a process of collecting data on business stakeholders. So that moving to the launch of Mangaung Economic Forum, at least we know that all the sections of the society or maybe the industries are included in the forum. Because we are going to go past that era where we'll be complaining to say that we don't have political will and all of that. And community people said, let's bring political will. So he's the chairperson of the forum, of the Mangaung Economic Forum. So we'll give you information as time goes by as to how the forum is going to work. And then he said it's not enough. Let's also form Mangaung Economic Agency as a state-owned company. That will be second after Sentlek, I think. I'm sure you know that it will be the second in the Free State because we have one in the Jolipuza called LDA. So that all economic activities and investment, discussions can actually be held in a platform where they can be able to be implemented should there be proposals. Ne? So I just wanted to do that, just to give it context. And lastly, comrades, as much as we are, I'm not sure how many of you know that I worked in youth development all my life. That is why even Chief Whip said even beyond 40. My observation is that you have young people that are not feeding into the agenda of the economy. That is why we complain to say, the parliament is full of old people and all of that. So we are challenging you today to say, let us do this thing together, so that you don't feel like you are being sidelined or anything of that type. And the issue of business support, Comrade Fusi, has always been a challenge. I've applied for all youth things, NYDA, until 35. I started my company in Busabelo. It was very small, turning, I think, about 300,000 a year. Until now, we are turning 2 million. So there's a way of actually starting organic enterprises. So the part of the call today will be to talk to young people to say, if that support is taking too long, what else can we be able to do to be sustainable? Comrades, that BEE was adopted by the government of the Republic of South Africa, I think in 1995, 1996. And then between 1996 and 2013, it only managed to transform the economy by 3%, of which 97% is still in the hands of white people. And then I served also as the president of the youth chamber in the Free State. We called the deputy president of SACI, which is the organization of white monopoly capital, to come to Bloemfontein. And then he told us that this 7 trillion that is seated in the hands of farmers and other white people who do not want to spend it for as long as ANC's government. Because you'll be asking yourself to say, if there's a pothole today, why can't we close it tomorrow? Because now we're going to go through things of the collection rate of the municipality. The money was supposed to be there. The money is here. But the issue of transformation of the economy is a problem in South Africa. Because now you have that 3%, Comrade Noktula, also include government current account. It informs even the employment rate. You can't employ people when you don't have resources. You know, recently when we were in SAIC, a couple of years ago in SAIC, we were called by Netleg to discuss national minimum wage, you remember? Because businesses are complaining to say 3.5 is too much for them. But we have a very rich market because, comrades, people must not lie to you. South Africa is still the best economy in Africa. There's no place like Sandton anywhere in Africa. Our banking system is the best in Africa. But the challenge is that when you go to Nigeria at the end of the month, Nigerians are trading. When you come to South Africa, people are queuing up for social grants. If he wants to make money, you employ people so that they can contribute tax, so that we can be able to close potholes, build infrastructure that is stimulating the economy. We know about those things, but the challenge is that for as long as the economy is not transformed, forget about us seeing a pothole today and closing it tomorrow. Because as young people, we are leaders of tomorrow. You need to lead the agenda of economic transformation. There are white people who are racist, the agricultural space in the Free State is not transforming because white people, they are sweet. No, they are racist. They don't want black people to tap into the issue of land and agriculture. And the agriculture is the best, it's the leading economic driver in the Free State. I think it contributes about 13% to our GDP. It's the biggest employer, by the way. But what type of employment is that? So we are going to have progressive discussions that are based on facts, and then from time to time we will be sharing these things. Thank you very much. Let me take this moment and call my boss. No, before I do that, let me call, there's a lady here, very beautiful lady. You are beautiful, ne? That's why you are Miss South Africa, ne? We received a call from Recipo to say that you are Miss Tin South. Is it? Oh, you are not top yet. Okay, so we requested because as part of the competition, Comrade Fusi, she's requested to do community work. Ne? So we are requested that we give you 2 minutes to say something. What's my English? Thank you so much. Let's give her a round of applause, colleagues.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Nani Yonatlume. I'm living here in Bloemfontein. I'm a student at Brebner High. I'm honored to be part of this magnificent event. I'm a member of V-Models Agency. I started modeling at a really young age. It's very important for parents to support their kids in any career path they wish to follow, because with the support we receive from our parents, family members, and community at large, we perform the best. My message today is very simple. In life, you need to believe in yourself. The world is full of opportunities. Stop doubting yourself. You are so strong. Just show the world what you can do. They say if you can dream it, you can do it. The things we reject most in life are the things we did not take. Dream big, start small, but most of all, start. If you can't stop thinking about it, don't stop working for it. I'm wishing you all the best. I thank you.
Wow, thank you. That was short, Excellency. No, I was doing that. Chief Whip, where are you? Where's Comrade Doctor? It's on the phone, okay. I get we know, comrades, that have I body beauty contest in Babua's Hoa. So, Nikiwata Wana, Kisani Sabusi Tembegoy. Thank you so much. Comrades, we are continuing with our program. Comrades, there's going to be a slight modification to our program because of the challenges that we just being informed that are existing here. So please don't be angry if our program is not going to be the way you know it. Let me take this moment and call my boss, our chairperson of MTMT and the regional treasurer of ANC Mangaung, Comrade Sipo, to introduce our MMC of Infrastructure Engineering, Comrade Fusi. Let's give him a round of applause.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I think you gave me this chair to sit down when I speak. Because you didn't give me a smart mic like you.
Oh, even a podium.
Yeah, I don't understand. Comrades, today we have a very special day. In fact, it's a day to consider whether all the policies, promulgated by the organization, are they implementable, or either do we really have to think outside our boxes in how to change our own lives? I can mention few resolutions the ANC has taken. Your youth employment, your education and skills development, your small business development, your rural development, your youth participation policies. There's so many of these policies that the ANC has promulgated. But the issue is, are we able to think outside the box? Are we able to bring ideas that would assist young people in business? We are sitting today with the national, if you look at the national statistics, it tells you that 62% of young people in the country are unemployed. But then, when you bring it down to our province, you see that we're at 40% of unemployment of youth that are unemployed. But are these youth, non-graduates, or are they graduates? That's the question we must also ask. If you look deep into this, you then realize that it is really not the policies that we are here to discuss. It is not, it is not the fact that the ANC is not promoting or giving the political will we're talking about. It is our mindset that we need to discuss. Are we in the correct mindset as business people? Do we understand the basic, if I may ask you a simple question, do you understand the economy of Mangaung? Do you understand the pillars that drives this economy? Are you participating in the pillars that drive this economy? Are you part of the agricultural sector? Are you part of, the tourism sector? What is it that you are participating in? We know that there is an argument that government should be the biggest, creator of opportunities. But how? These are the questions that we must ask. I think as I'm about to call, my deputy chair, who is also going to be, representing, I think, the mayor who is not yet here. These are the things that I would ask that you bring into the fore of the discussions. If we have to ask ourselves right now, in terms of our own region, what is the percentage of participation of young people in the economy? If we have to look into the province, what is the participation of our young people in terms of the province? How are we influencing the national agenda in terms of this? If we are talking about our GDP, what is our participation in terms of the SMME, in terms of the GDP? Because if we saying, SMMEs are the drivers of the economy, but why is it only 14% of the SMMEs are participating into our GDP, which is then the formalized kind of sectors in the SMMEs? Why are we having that? in a comparative study with Asia, if we take other countries and look into these comparative studies, we then have to ask ourselves, why is it that Asian countries are actually having 70% of their SMMEs contributing into their GDP? Why are we not in that space? How do we arrive there? Can we really arrive there by focusing into government, or we need to understand, you know, the pillars that drives our economy and we participate in that space? So, Deputy Chair, Comrade Vusi Soqaka, my MMC also, my leader at the organization, you are welcome.
Thank you.
I had to welcome you properly.
Good morning. The reason why I'm saying good morning, I was advised that I must come in the morning. So it is unfortunate that I came late due to other commitments, unplanned commitment, treasure. Together with the mayor, the chief whip ran away from our meeting. We had a meeting this morning with the workers that we put in lots of demands, correctly so. So we had to listen to them. After that meeting, we met with the union that was also putting lots of demand. We had to listen to them, correctly so, together with the mayor. Now, I ran away from the mayor because I realized that the treasurer of the region was going to insult me now. Let me just run away and come here. And then honor, because he spoke with me yesterday night that I must be here. But I'm going to mix issues. Though he says I'm an MMC infrastructure, also I'm the deputy chair of the ANC in this region. Because these programs that he's leading with his team, it is a program of the region in trying to engage different sectors and role players in Mangaung, in trying to bring what you call, we are developing a social compact with all the stakeholders. The purpose of doing this social compact, it is because we have realized from the conference that we held at Invedo that our organization, the ANC, was faced by a number of challenges, and it is still faced by a number of challenges. We cannot exonerate ourselves and say, no, those ones were leading before, it's them, it's not us, and so on. No, 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 no. We are one ANC. We have been part of this ANC. Now I knew nothing else since my I was arrested in 1987. I was still very young. So my entire life, it has been about the ANC. And the reason why my entire life it has been about the ANC, it is because I resonate well with what the ANC seek to persuade. The ANC, amongst other things, in its strategy and tactics document, it speaks about advancing the interests of the motive force of our revolution. What are these motive force? Motive force is the youth, the rural, the unemployed, the poor, and the middle class. All those social sectors that constitute our society. The ANC seek to create a better environment for them. So this is what the ANC stands for. This is what the ANC seek to achieve. But in pursuance of that particular thing, we were confronted in the recent years, about since 1994, with a way of saying, now we are in government, how do we actualize what we have been theorizing about? And critically, the ANC Youth League in 1993, Vista Soweto Conference, it was confronted by the same question. To say, we are going to be in government. Are we remaining to be Bosia Nyova, Bachesanditrata, or what is our new role? The late President, Peter Mukaba, he was saying it is adapt or die kind of an approach. Adapt or die. Because now we are ushering in a new, complete environment. An environment where will be part or an integral part of the leading part in government. It means now we need to do things differently. That is why that Vista Soweto conference emerged with a redefined role and task of the ANC Youth League, which we call it a twin task. Advance the socio-economic interest of young people within the ANC. What does it mean, that thing? It means the ANC Youth League cannot go to a meeting of the ANC and say, please, we are requesting. No, they must fight and raise issues of young people in the ANC so that the ANC listen and integrate those particular issues. Because many young people today, I was laughing in the morning, I was creating a theory in my mind. Let me just take you quickly on this theory. I was saying to myself, ANC in the Free State 10 years ago, before this new leadership, all businesses, regardless of what, they had to find refuge outside the province. Two others, they lost everything. You know why? Because we never had genuine business. We had people by the tender bulletin only. It was all about tender. When the tender system was closed, whether right or wrong, it was closed by then leadership of the ANC, feeding specific people, isolating the rest of society. All of them collapsed, Comrade Sipho. They all collapsed. Others, Batswabaya, Bo Eastern Cape, Bo Gauteng, all these things. Before 10 years ago, unona style is catering. I got a business speed. Kibula catering company. Kita well Comrade Sipho au name speed. That is not business. That is not business. And the Youth League should be leading young people together with the ANC to say this is the type, because amongst you here, it is an intelligentsia of this country. It is an intelligentsia of this country. The reason why we're called by then young lions is because O.R. Tambo had an understanding that young people are creative, are innovative, are adventurous. But the day you start to beg as a young person, forget. You cannot be a perfect human being being young. You can't be perfect being young. Now, if we are going to have young people, then so I'm calling upon all of you. We have made policies as the ANC. Sipho was reading these policies. We have made policies. Stop being beggars. We need industrialists here. We need young people who are in innovation. We need young people because the world is changing. If you don't see, then there is a problem. Look, COVID-19, many businesses went down, but others became innovative and creative. Bo take a lot or bo check out, say that like this King 60, what, where now we're ordering online. That is being creative. It is a role of business to always look for new adventures and new opportunities. Infrastructure, it's not sustainable. You will get it, it's not sustainable because the problem of being young, I must tell you, the problem of being young, you see 3 million in a bank, you go and buy Maybach there, Mercedes-Benz. Not knowing that after 2 months, that man is going to dry out. So, I'm calling upon all of you. Comrade Sipho is creating, on behalf of the ANC, an enabling environment for you to strive. Perhaps, Comrade Sipho, I know that we are preparing for economic summit in Mangaung. The approach of this economic summit that we are going to do is going to be different. It's going to be very different. And I'm standing by my word. I told the mayor that let's change gear here. It's not going to be like this, where big people will come and talk and leave. We must call these industries, have a show with them. You go to them and say, how can you help me? Tell me, what is your procedure, and so on and so on. So that we carry and we create relationship. Because business, it will never strive without relationships. It will never. It will never. You will remain stagnant as a business. Now, you, the intelligentsia of this country, we are looking upon you. I might be younger, because the mayor says he's living on borrowed time. 60 something I get in. Marhansi, or extra time. Hansi Tata man, kimo 50 something. Ask Kampona again, kimo 50 something. Is that so I'm saying, use the time and space for that particular summit and go there and be registered. And we are not going to do this summit without your involvement. You must be there. The Youth League must be able to speak for you there. To say, Kibana youth ekana in netting, so that you interact with this big captain of industries. The municipality have just approved a budget yesterday of 9-something billion rand. Ne? And then this budget, it is a budget, it is very small compared to other metros. Other metros, they are talking about 20-something billion. Here we are small. We are small because we are unable, because of our own problems as the ANC. In fights, we are unable to collect revenue more. Because if you can collect more revenue, it means budgetary. So, let me shock you. For capital budget, capital expenditure, your water, your sewer, your roads, your electricity, and so on and so on, so on. We have only 1.2 billion out of that 9 billion. And 500 what half a billion imu department nyaka oskam phone but the phone but a creativity innovation, not phone or agonzame no. Everything will be done openly for everybody to benefit. I get it. And some of you, I raise it with SIPO. There are documents of the municipality that are easy, accessible through the internet, which says, go and look in Gauteng, see how Bomit Rente, this driver thing. What is your understanding to tap on the economy along the N line? I mean, King N1. What is your, because Mangaung, it is a bypass seat. In terms of this theory of the city regions, since they explain you, Mangaung is a bypass city. Everybody passes here. What is it that we are thinking as business? To tap into that particular type of economy. Everybody passes here. I was discussing with certain young people here, they were telling me about that they went to Velcom to create what you call a tripod. You know what's a tripod? But I said, look, you have a Brandfisher airport here. The driveway is too big. Why don't you create that tripod there? Airport, you assemble there, you bring things, you take them there. You take in because we were in Durban, Chief Whip. We were in Durban. They were telling us that their assembly point there is full. But there are no young people that says, let's go and say, Rekupa assemble Moblomfontein. We can supply Cape Town Ufitamona out of Gauteng. Manganese from Kimbal Ufitamona. Everything Ufitamona. What is it that we are doing? I'm just planting the ideas into your minds so that you go back and dig deep. You have your own political economy here. All these political parties, they are formed here. National Party, ANC, whatever, they are formed here. But in Joburg, Soweto, they were able to create Vilakazi Street. There is Wesley Church, there is Masenkeng, there is Mapikela House, there, no creativity at all. Those who are in tourism industry. So I'm raising all these issues for you to understand that this thing, but wabang batluka bayinke bamateka yone liloko pa mesebetsi ubona, because you are depriving yourself an opportunity to just to release your, you know, ANC Youth League said they are going to make education fashionable. You know, how nanto emunanti like to be innovative and read and do research. How busy we move, Comrade Nigel. It's true, never can elaborate. But out there, PhD, it's not a problem. Get chance to get no. One, the latter master has a no, get over doctor. I'll call a doctor more. So I'm saying, even yourself, please help us, young people. Please take us out of this thing. Yeah, poverty, take another little drugs, let's skill and employ young people. Let's expand ourselves and make sure that business thrive in Mangaung. I'm just pleading with all of you. The MEC of Agriculture was telling me things about the tapping agricultural produce konto kotabancho. Those who are in agriculture, I can ask you now, why don't you go and register marking? There are 5 companies there in that mark. But kata integrate automu or one barki mutamai. Kima huaba 4, when they were telling us that history amonu, it has been a family business, yamahoa. But marka kwa mangaung. Have you come as young people and say, Rekopa space, Lornago market, keep the produce good farmer? Nothing. So I'm saying opportunities are there. But Butata Baluna, Currie, Lemis Mutauton tender, Leone, how we apply a tender of phone appeal, Hinkanaka Kinya Kitalokela Mu. I mean, what kind of a businessman or businesswoman are you? So I'm saying there are lots of things. You know, unali sipo, treasure, unali le le one in Bloemfontein. Ibiani le tsamaile no. One anali abato, the rabbit, the mutanyani. He was the only person. He was supplying the whole Africa with that thing. Yeah, in Bloemfontein. But where are young people? Or those things are not good. But I said so. So I'm raising all these things because the African National Congress, it is worried that now Rona retlo maya. Korobona la rata ale rati retlo tsamaya retlo shwa. Ke lona tshwentse le over. Now how is a movie linele push repili? Like there was a young lady who said to me, I'm a comrade Vosila Sukudisa. Ulumukana kano tolwanela regime. Tamino tamaye kwa kina kwaruna. Do you get my point? So I'm saying it is your time. Please use it. Use it and make sure that you develop even generations to come. I went to Belgium in 2003. I went there to Belgium to the city called City of Ghent. We strive a deal with those people there. Young people there are doing wonders. I don't want to lie, they are doing wonders. Yes, you may think that because they are an advanced economy, maybe things are happening. No, they are partnering with government. You know, Chief Whip, there you don't drink a juice, ne? Or Chief Whip, I only juice or mezi. As I think go to cooperative things, badula mo. Everything is for those young people. Even they have, we did it in Mangaung, okay, whatever it is. We came with a concept here, the youth centers. where we're putting computers, what. But let me tell you, all those computers are gone now, ne? But you say kaofela, gore di ile. Le motho o di utswitseng ha sana tjhelete, no. Probably rekise 50 rand or 100 rand or whatever it is. So I'm saying, if we don't build our own society, we're going to have a problem. As I'm about to conclude, I'm going to ask you a fundamental question, Treasure. Townships are built every day. Municipality, within the SDF, what you call, they've identified economic zones in those particular townships. Supermarket. There's money there in phase 6, phase 5, phase what, phase 10, Pumulung, whatever. There are economic zones. Our own parents are traveling there. We are going to woodlands. But we can create an economy there and build people there. There is a new trend that is emerging now. I'm not a racist. So-called babula these building material industries at a very cheap rate, and they're from outside. And as young people, we are not tapping into those things. I'm not loyal, Mama. So young people are not tapping into those things. So I'm calling upon all of you. I've tried to highlight different angles, but I'm inviting innovation, creativity, and critical thinking amongst yourselves. You know, the mayor was saying yesterday, one of the dialectical principles, he was saying, we should allow the new to be born. But new ideas, certainly some shape into what we want to achieve. So I hope this is not going to be a talk show. I hope this is not Sipo trying to give us food and water and so on, and then we go home, we say, thank you, God, we have eaten today, then we'll see each other next time. But it should be a form that is taking us forward and build the future that we want. We need to change Mangaung. Mangaung, it has to change. And unfortunately, it's you, young people, who need to do that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Vusi. Comrades, let me welcome our Executive Mayor, Comrade Gregory Ntatisi, who is our main player into this event, who must actually assist us in terms of making sure that these small businesses here are getting the opportunity that we should be getting. He has a responsibility. I actually said to him sometime that we do not need any more policy positions of the ANC. Different conferences of the ANC have produced these policies. We want practical solutions into creating business opportunities. As I said earlier, we've got 14% of our small business participating into our GDP, which translates to 34% of our gross domestic product. But then if you look into other countries, as I said, you know, your Asian countries, their small business contribute to around about 70% of their GDP. So for us to actually find ourselves at the right space, we need to make sure that young people participate in business. My job is very simple. I'm going to codify all decisions taken here today and make sure that the mayor implements those decisions. Comrade Gregory Ntatisi, welcome.
Sanibonani abantu abadala. Philani ke. Anazi nothetha isiXhosa but nithi ningama South African. Hayi le ntetho nizayaqhubha ngesiXhosa ke namhlanje. I right musne. Chin. Okay, let me first and foremost apologize for keeping you waiting. It's not in my nature. I came back from Joburg this morning, where the Premier of the province had assigned us to meet with an embassy at Qatar And upon our arrival at the office, I'm sure Vusi might have explained, the Chief Whip, we found workers who had come to complain, and we really had to give them that attention. My apology. Now, many speakers have spoken, and I did not hear what they were saying, but I agree with them. So now that I do agree with them, I can sit down. I can sit down, eh? Oh. I'm trying to gauge your age, and I'm trying to fine-tune my approach. So that it shouldn't be that when I leave that door, they say Mau Mau say. He just come from nowhere, but yeah. But I've got kids too. And I've got one that one day crack a story for me. And at that point, I realized that I thought I knew, but there are certain things I do not understand. And she was talking about animals. So I'm going to inanimate my talk with regard to real life. My daughter said to me, Daddy, do you know that you can produce a best breed by mixing animals that are domesticated, or even produce animals that may be of a bigger size, subject to bringing them together to mate? Sex, it's a sex. Agar. So that is that I know, at least I've seen it. But then she said, Daddy, but that you can't do with wild animals. With wild animals, the best breed comes out of an infight. They first fight, and the one that wins the battle is the one that sleeps with the she ones. And the product that comes out there, quite obviously, will be a best breed, because the male one would have won the battle. It does not matter what size that animal is. It could be this size or the other size, other way around. For as long as it has won the battle, the product will be the best breed. That knowledge I did not know, but I've seen animals fighting. But then she said to me, Daddy, normally animals made during winter time, or as from April, May, June. That is why that period is referred to be a hunting period. Because the best breed would have fought the useless ones, and they'll be hanging around with the she ones. And the useless ones with horns will be grazing on their own, and they are only good to produce meat and biltong. That part I did not know. And then she said, in the carnivorous animals, which I can tell different types of animals in terms of habitability, but for purposes of this meeting, carnivorous animals are those that live by eating meat, not herbivorous that depends on grass, shrubs, and other related greenery. That's knowledge economy. Eh? So yes, carnivorous animals, in most material time, they hunt and mass together. But during that mating season, the weaker ones, the beaten ones, are isolated from the domain. So those ones that are now isolated must now roam around and hunt for themselves. So the reference point here was a hyena. A conversation between a hyena and a bulldog. So then she said to me, it was mating season. This hyena was beaten. It was roaming around alone. And in the nature of hyenas, they are scavengers. They eat from kill of other animals, or they kill en masse. Now, when it's isolated, it cannot kill an animal alone. It must depend on the leftovers, the dead. It must also depend on the weak ones that are domesticated, like a sheep. And what else? A piglet, or even chickens, or those that may not give a fight back. So as this hyena was roaming around, it saw a farmhouse, and it approached the farmhouse with the hope that it will get one of the domesticated animals. But to its dismay, the hyena came across a bulldog that was barking back to it. Don't come closer, I'll tear you apart. The hyena gulped a bit, looked at the bulldog, and the hyena realized that in and around the bulldog, there were fleshy bones, leftovers, bread, name any assorted thing that you can think of. The bulldog was well fed with a shiny skin. And the hyena said, Bulldog, I'm not fighting with you. I know you'll win this battle. I just want to ask you some few questions. Tell me, is what I see in and around you all yours? And proudly the bulldog answered, all mine. How did you access that? From my master. And what are you giving in return? I just provide security. I bark and chase people like you away from the house and access all these goodies. Could you talk to your master that I could be part of the security providers? No, this is my territorial dominance. Look for another house, maybe they'll hire you. But here, eta holla saakam. And the hyena was about to go. But then the hyena noticed something, that on the neck of the bulldog, there was something hanging. And that was a chain. The hyena asked the bulldog, Bulldog, what is that on your neck? And very ashamed, the bulldog answered, it's a chain, hyena. Why? Asked the hyena. The bulldog answered, no, you see, this chain is meant to confine me on the danger part of the house, to keep me away from disturbing children, and also to keep me away from visitors when they come to the house, and be on this side where the attack might come from, and also to be able to can fight in the event anything happens. The hyena was not impressed. But looking at the good food and everything around the bulldog, with a canopy for the sun, a bowl of water, a blanket or a mat to rest on, and the good food, the hyena was prepared to also take a punch and allow the chain on its neck. And the bulldog stood up. The hyena noticed that the bulldog did not have a tail. Bulldog, what happened to your tail? And again, very ashamed, the bulldog answered, no, you see, hyena, when I'm excited, I wag my tail happily, and I dirty my master's trouser. And sometimes when I excrete, the residue surround my tail and I smell. So for purposes of hygiene, they decided to cut my tail. How long does it take to heal? As the hyena and the bulldog answered, come on, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks, then I'm fine. The hyena said, I can also take the tail story. They can cut my tail. After all, I'll get all the goodies. Kalibora, ne? Huh? Okay. So the hyena was prepared to take the punch of a tail as well, from the chain to the tail. And then the bulldog turned around. And the hyena noticed that the bulldog was castrated. Hey man, bulldog, what happened to your manhood? And the bulldog, again, very ashamed, answered, you see, hyena, During mating season, I get excited, I pull the chain, I jump the fence, I look for a mate, and I leave the house unattended, and then thieves come and steal. So for purposes of making sure that I'm not that problem, they've decided to castrate me. The header looked at the bulldog and he said, you know what? I could take the punch of a chain and a tail, but my manhood, never. That would not happen. So bulldog, I'm sorry. You are no longer a complete dog, and you can no longer produce any feather. The domain of the bulldog is coming to an end. I rather live and battle, look around what I can find, come across some head of sheep, kill one, and simply go for a liver, get excited, and look around and look for a she-hyena, and increase the domain of hyenahood. And the hyena left. Yeah. But 2 years down the line, on another mating season, when the poor hyena was again isolated, it was on a mountain trying to get some rabbits for its feed, and between two heavy rocks, there was an animal lying there, breathing heavily like it's about to die, with ribs showing. And the hyena was excited. Remember, the hyena is a scavenger. So it was quite excited to say, here is a meal for a day. But when the hyena approached, the hyena realized, this is the same old bulldog I spoke to 2 years back. So the hyena decided to say, bulldog, wake up. What do you want here and what happened? The first answer from the bulldog was that, can you please get me something to eat? Then we'll talk about what happened. So the hyena jumped the mountain, looked for a rabbit, killed one, fed the bulldog. And when the bulldog had gained the strength, that now takes us to the irony of the story, because it's a long, boring story. So they then sat down around the fire like that. So the bulldog started giving the talk. He said, hyena, you know, just after your departure there, few days to follow, my master, the one who's feeding me, brought something, and that thing was called a wife. So they took 25% of that food that you saw there. I was left with 75% to eat. That wife was now creepy crawling into what was mine. And then 9 months down the line, that thing gave birth to twins. Again, those kids, as they were growing, they took now another 25%. So I was left with 50%. I could not do much, but I had to find a way that I sustained myself through the 50%. But inside 6 months, after the twins, my master came back home crying that he was sacked from work. So he must now cut on cost. So the first cost was me, bulldog. He unchained me and let go of me. Because he started telling me that the food that he was giving me, that 50%, he must start refrigerating it for later usage. Because he's now sacked from work. So I must find my way. But for the rest of my life, hyena, I depended on that man, my boss. I could live through the image of that man. There was never any skill I had acquired from the outside existence except the one that was to bark and chase people away. Now, I don't even have hunting skills. Each time I approach animals, they run away. By the way, skilled animals with their hunting skills, they approach animals, other animals from where the wind is blowing from, not to. Because in their senses, they can smell when an attack is coming, even if they don't see the attack. So the poor bulldog, because he was never skilled, he was just approaching from all angles and all directions. So he could not even catch one. The poor bulldog. Until the bulldog lost the strength and ended up in between those two heavy rocks. And then the bulldog said to the hyena, teach me your skills, because I would like to be as independent as you are. It is true that you really do struggle to get your meal, but when you get one, you get the best one. So let me find my way of being a bulldog. So when they were sitting around that fire, then the bulldog started telling the real gist of the story. You know, hyena, don't see them driving big cars, living in big houses, brandishing fat credit cards. They are nothing else but me, bulldog. For as long as they work for a corporate company, public institutions like us, and any other institution you can think of, they are nothing else but me, bulldog. And if they do not perform according to the demand of their master, all what faces them is firing. That's what happened to my master. Don't see them with that big house. They must entertain clients of the company or of the institution they are saving. If they don't do so with that big house, they are underperforming. The bulldog said to the hyena, you must watch even those big cars that they are driving. I can go with my car to K, said the hyena. I mean the bulldog, you can go with your car to K, or you could go to 2nd Avenue with your car. But those big cars that they're driving, they get questioned that in a Ebatlang 2nd Avenue Koloi, your company, when we did not send you there. They cannot swipe whiskey. They were given to the level of a bottle of wine, the cheapest one. From there, they must buy food. And I can call it about one alone, Lida Kobo, Temo, Modi Kaila K, Bashara di Billy Majitalon. Kwa government because he must pay the Jew. It should not be seen that he was at Keila K because the receipt will say whiskey go Keila K. So when you are a bulldog, so said the bulldog himself, you cannot do as you wish with what is within your reach. It may sound big. You may be in suits and tie like me and be some form of a dignitary, but remain a bulldog and take your instructions from a master who can fire you anytime, including me. This ANC of mine can recall me anytime. You know where I am, there is what we call vote of no confidence, step aside, and what else? Redeployment, recall, so many beautiful words, very rich in nature. But believe me, telling, hard telling. So I'm happy that I'm here with people that do not harbor the wish to be bulldogs. That makes me happy. It really does. Because the avenue of being a hyena have got the horizons that can always make you scramble for even more. And even create a situation where you can cater for society, independently so. You can stop anywhere with your car. You buy anything you like. You do anything you wish, unlike a bulldog. So am I talking to bulldogs here or hyenas? Good. I like it. Now, those that spoke before me, even though I was not here, I know they would have spoken around the avenues of how possible you can become very sound hyenas. And next time I call you a hyena, don't think I'm comparing you to a dirty animal. I'm actually playing around the niche of your intuition and initiative Is my English okay? Maybe I should start there. My worry is that I might be talking English only to find that Kibwa English ya Angola, you see. And then I get ban seba ke tswa morale. O tla ka mahlo a reti, o mobe, and then aba bua English e mpe. E re sa kgoneng o utlwa hore o ntse a reng le hore o bua le ka diphoofolo, o re bitsa di-animal. I hope I didn't touch on sensitive toes. If I did, let me apologize in advance. But those that are still saving in those institutions that I make reference to, you are saving and saving a particular society. So do not feel insulted as well. But this is a clarion call and a wake-up call. The principle of being employed is that the day they say you are hired, you must learn to plan your way out the same day. Does it make sense? That the day you are hired, you plan for your exit strategy. How do you do it? The institution that's hiring you, it would be providing services, isn't it? And that service, they are providing it by making profit. So know the modalities of how do they provide this service by making profit, so that you either study the same trade or you can even improve on the same trade and come up with your own. That's planning your exit strategy. Don't go there and feel comfortable that I'm now hired, therefore I've got a job. Because you are under a master who may not need your services when you least expect it. And you'll be left with no option but to become that kind of a demising bulldog. It was in parable. You have heard me. I can't say more. Okay? I can't say more. I can't waste your time further. But I am under the impression that I'm talking to Highness. The opportunities are there. The most viable, pliable, and soft target opportunity is that of tenderpreneurs. Don't think when you are running a tender, you are equal to a person I should call a businessman or a business person. Don't. You are just another form of a person delaying distraction. Because you are now depending on what is not sustainable. And many of you, I know your eyes are cast at what government can provide in terms of sustaining you, when you should actually use the window of what government can provide to you in order to usher you into business. Don't look at tendering as the alpha and omega of your tomorrow today. No. But look at it as one window that can usher you into the horizons of a better tomorrow. Agreed? Good. And don't target saturated market when you are ushering yourself into business. Don't go that route. The kind of saturated market, look at the ladies that are here. They are all with beautiful hair in all different styles. That comes from a boutique called Saloon, isn't it? How many saloons do you come across street by street? Then you come to me, hey, Grootman, business. What business? A saloon. When the market is saturated. No, I want to do something. What? No, catering. Ne? You think when you have spiced your food more than others, then you are a better service provider. No. Some of us, we eat light and we eat nice. No? And we eat quality in a sense of what is quality by not rounding it. You know what I've seen in one occasion, my chief? Papa epeilweng ka cheese. Pap with cheese. And then I went to the spinach. It was in a cheese kind of arrangement. And then there was meat covered with cheese as well. Cheese. Until I came across cheese that was covered with cheese. I said, wow. Now, I looked at the amount of money used just to cover all these things with cheese. If this person is really going to make profit, because all the money went to this cheese that was covering everything. As if that cheese that was covered with cheese was the last one. There was now different cheeses there, sitting there. It's your choice, and they were named. Ne? Charamet this and this and that. And then I to you, baby Zangan. Yeah, you see, they were there. But that market is saturated too. It is also saturated. Already because once you can takes in the market is saturated. So please, young men and women, think out of the box. Be innovative. Do something that anybody may not challenge you. Or do things that many will run away from. At some point before I became what they are calling me now, I was in this game. And one of the business I was doing was Huputa Masepa, Kadi truck. Yes. But you know, when I am in an occasion like this and I'm asked what I was doing, it's called reticulation and sanitation. The trucks, the honey sack, they've got beautiful names. So who'd laugh at me and like Banna Baba? But what was funny was that that kind of business was actually giving me more than even someone who's running a saloon. My pocket was really quite big. I was organized. But guess what? During the day, and the interesting part of that part of work is that I had to have trucks which would bound me to have drivers. And then in those honeysuckers, I had to have people that would actually dip into the pit latrine. All what I had to do was to make sure that my books, my trucks, my workers, and everybody's paid. I was hardly there. But it was my business. So the long and short is that don't even look at business from how quickly clean it is. It is how lucrative this business is with regard to making sure that I thrive and grow. And business does not have borders. It needs sharp thinking, knowing your trade, and making sure that if you don't, you master it. My last point. Please do not bank on your reserves to open business. Don't do that. The next thing resign ko spornet o reka van a ba ro tla tsamaisetsa batho di item mo kase kreetsa ma shebile ko dimo after 6 months we cry emi mo tsona ditine tsele tseneng tse di tsamaisa e se emi mo dima tsona ha sa khona o lukisa because he took his last money to start business. That's not how we should always look at things. Business, it's a business plan you develop. Once it makes economic sense, that's money. Only then you go to those windows where that money can be supported in terms of hard cash. I don't know whether this one is appealing. It's not, eh? Must I put it nicely? Okay. you do not have to go deep into your pocket to start business. You have to start here to put your business case and put up a business plan which the same government that's saving you has got institutions to come to your rescue by way of developing a convincing business plan. You follow? Once you have one, financial institutions are the ones that must buy into your business plan in terms of financing you. Literally, once your business plan has come together and is appealing, already you've got money. You are a potential millionaire. What you need to do now is to follow your dream by putting this business plan into what it is to the window where it must now be financed. Again. And once you have done that, you did not touch money that must actually bring your baby up or make you SICU. You're not taking away that. You're not doing that. You are merely making money to come to your rescue and make you become what you should be. And do not compete with the next door neighbor when money is coming your way. What's a BMW, but my capacity could give me a Toyota Corolla. Both cars, they do reach Johannesburg. They do. And luxury comes at a point when your muscle allows it. Don't jump into luxury when you still have a business to build. Buy according to the dictate of your business. Don't buy according to, I want Joe to Horampono Lena, Ngai Lata Ferrari. No. Don't bring troubles into your space. By the way, hari kana go Cubana or go kana kinyilu kapelo ne. Lemo keila ke wabana mo retsene mo ne. Khona le ba ba tsama maybe ka bo di Ferrari le bo di Range Rover mo. Marbo my sister, ha ba di bone di ka mo ntle re hiso. Ba bona. Go bua gore o gona go ipuella yang kae. Ha e bui ka go tsama kae. These are matters of heart. So, kasko ba tlo tsena ka koloi bona na re tla o bona ka koloi e ntle for tla o dumela. Le banyana ba ba yo le ke ba ba lahlile. O lahlile o ntumela because of a resource that I display, artificial thing, material. No. O santse o nshebe le gore nna ke di shebile na. E be le gore o ka ntshwarang ka di jobs akere. Yeah. You don't have to rush into these things, ne? By way of trying to make them speak for you. No, they don't. When I sheba ka mo ke bona ba fana ba ba tlhapileng, re tla kera re itletse ka taxi. Mara o so dumelane le ene le gona go plana gore ano bebiritswa ya mmo. E seng o shebe bo mpona ke tsena ke tla ke tsama ka kulo ya manya menyako e buigelang go dimo be le gore ne o bona ke le ene o tla kera ba ba yalo le bonene elsewhere they are very weak. You know what, ne? You ladies have got many advantages over us. You know when you go to your loo, ne? Wa kena bu ikwalla, ne? Rona common loos. Okra kana ke mbaulele e emiso. Men, we stand next to each other, ne? So what I want to say, retsamare jamba ba ba to rutela maoto. So tshwantsho mle bona sa nsheba go so that shebe kwa didenyao ta tlo rutela maoto. Normally, ne ha re tseba until re fitla to that point ya gore re duba. Anyway, I want to come to your level and show you that akaja retex wabona. Quite versatile. And making sure that I really touch you to a point where you should you should also begin to understand that we've got an open door policy when it comes to sharing ideas and making sure that we reach one another at a level where things should happen. But look, I'm impressed. I'm actually excited looking at you and the discipline with which you are demonstrating to listen to me. And I know I've been saying things that are boring, but I hope that where I might have made sense, you'll take it for yourself. And where it might have actually be parallel to your expectation, my apologies for that. On that note, Prasipo, thank you very much.
Thank you, Executive Mayor. Now that the Executive Mayor has spoken, ladies and gentlemen, in short, he's saying innovation, diversification, understanding your investment portfolios, how you want to protect those investment portfolios. It is fortunate that I am a businessman myself, and I'm going to walk the road with you. What we have started doing now, we are speaking to different wards where we are training the branch treasurers to identify stakeholders in those areas. Because we want to zoom in into these areas and identify exactly what is a niche market. Remember, what he's talking about is a niche market, something that would make sure that nobody else can compete there. I mean, right now he's saying where they work. You find that we've got a service, point with our Department of Health, where people are queuing in lines going to hospitals. We don't have young people participating in terms of technology, ITC there, to change things in how things must happen in hospitals. There's so many things that you must think about, things outside the scope that is narrowed in terms of tenders. Let me also explain this. There's nothing wrong. The mayor definitely must create that opportunity that these tenders are available for young people, that we're not apologetic about it. But once you receive those tenders, is what you do with that money. That is important. That diversification of your portfolios is one of the most important things. But now what we're going to allow, and after this, I'm not going to speak, we're just going to take notes, and therefore Comrade Sidiso will close, or maybe I see Comrade Sizwe is here, will close. We'll take maybe around about 5 or so questions, and then the mayor is here to answer. And once those questions are answered, we are then going to call another follow-up meeting. Remember, I have pleaded with you that, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be our road. The region of Mangaung, in terms of the regional conference, we are going closer to bringing small business into the market and making sure that our growth in terms of participation grows beyond the 34%, at least to 70% as anticipated, or as comparatively studied by other economies like your Asian economies and things like that. So unfortunately, we do not have all the time to discuss and make a whole lot of these things. We will open up for questions and we take it from there. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Komisipo. Colleagues, let me explain to you here so that you understand. When we called you here, we had a breakfast a few months ago, and then we said to Puzo, where is Puzo? Puzo is there. To say, Retobale Forum, Mangaung Economic Forum. So all our issues will be ventilated there. Why? Here was just to launch the month and to demonstrate, whereas ANC, we are there, we are listening. So when we open for questions, we can't solve, Malik, everything here. Why? We need you to come to us, Redule Kara Forum. The forum does not have a limit, by the way. Even if we are 2,000, it's fine, Deputy Chair. So I'm gonna allow a couple of very key questions. In fact, not just to the executive mayor, even to yourself, Comrade Sip. But I don't agree with all of you regarding tenders. Comrades, I ran an organic entrepreneurship company. I was not funded by anyone. For me to move from 300 to 2 million, it was a mountain. It took 17 years. So tender might not be bad, executive mayor. So we're going to do that now. I'm going to take, on this part here, I'm going to take 10 hands, and then here I'm going to take 10 hands. You are asking your question directly and succinctly, and then if it's a complaint, I'm going to suppress you. I said no complaints. We want contributions. Tell us, how do you want this vehicle to move moving forward? Does it make sense? Thank you so much. I'm starting this side. You are number 1, Malik. Number 2, Puso. Number 3. Number 4, remember your number. Number 5. Number 6, Marushwan. Number 7. Number 8. We have 8. Aria, Puso. No, I'm coming this side. Yeah.
Let me try, maybe I can. Thank you so much. Mine is just a short one. My concern is all about the foreign nationals. We would like to appeal and request from our leaders to create a conducive environment through the policies and the bylaws so that our people can compete with them. Then followed by support from our government to our businesses.
Yes.
So these foreign people, they are taking everything now. And they are uncontrollable. So we are asking from our leaders to intensify, to intensify and make sure our bylaws are implemented from the point of municipal level, because that is where this thing starts from. We are enough with these fake things and the drugs and other things. You know, they are not hiring our people, they are not imparting any skills and all that. So we just request from them to make sure there's laws and policies that will assist us to do away with these people. That's all.
What I love about your question, and I will be specific to you, you said competition. Because I don't know any society in the world that is built by endemic people only. Why one? Illicit products and all of those. I respect your question, my brother. And I like the fact that we look at our legislation. So how Fitagara Forum raise those issues exactly the way you did. I just loved your question. I don't want to speak, but I loved it. Where's my number 2? Yes, Malik. Yeah, that's better.
Dumelang, my name is Bongani Ndlovu. I am involved in the agricultural sector. Specifically, I am involved in the cannabis industry. I would like to come and present and possibly get your buy-in, every business and official that's here. I have noticed the way that we can make money for our province and change how the province and the face of the province, you know. In Mangaung, we have a lot of open properties, open spaces, parks, just open spaces, whether Obuchabela, Rockland, Pameng, there's a lot of open spaces. Mangaung has an office or a department called Parks and Cemeteries. In Parks and Cemeteries, there's a department, or rather they have a program called Adopt a Park. I would like to present to all of us that how about as a community, or we can register an entity that adopts parks. And with these parks, we produce industrial hemp, which feeds into every industry, whether you're construction, you are fashion, you are cosmetics, whether you are biodegradable fuel, or whether you are in recreational activities, but it feeds into every aspect of our society, whether you want to make paper or textile. Cannabis can address that. Until we get to a point where we can discuss recreational use, the law allows us to grow cannabis for industrial use. With 1 hectare, you can plant up to 1,000 trees. From 1,000 trees, you can make R1 million. I know what I'm talking about. I am in this industry. We don't have to smoke cannabis. We can wear it. We can use it to build our houses, our roads. There's so much that we can do with cannabis. It feeds into every aspect. You've got ecotourism. I currently own a legal cannabis dispensary. For more information, I can give guidance as to how we can go about this step by step, in so much as giving training, turning soil, planting, training as to how we penetrate the market, the different markets that are available for us to tap into this. I would really like us to look into this. There's a lot of opportunity in this industry, cannabis. Thank you very much for your time.
All right, comrades, I'm just giving a fresh mandate. I'm not gonna, we're not gonna listen to all questions, and leadership will answer. They will take them as they come. Comrade Greg, are you going to take up with issue of the foreign nationals? Yes.
So,
Yes, it is.
no, we're in Butsabelo together day before yesterday, ne? Yeah. Okay. Let me answer this issue. Doesn't sound like yeah, I was saying, let me answer this issue, foreign nationals, and I think I need to broaden it a bit. During apartheid, most of our people, both political and just as refugees, left this country, and we found ourselves in a number of countries that had just received their independence or liberation. And in 1963, 30 of these countries met in Addis Ababa on the 15th of May, 1963, and they discussed the plight of South Africa. And they arrived at giving us refugee status and allowing us two things: to school and to work in their countries whilst being there. And that became a UN's resolution in terms of how foreigners should be treated across African societies. Now today we are faced with now Africans coming to us. And I think we are bound by the OAU, which is AU today, as part of Africa and as part of that organization, to also treat other Africans in the same spirit that we're treated. But we need to blame ourselves first, as South Africans. When we were there were strict measures that we're living under in those countries. First by ourselves as South Africans, but secondly by the laws of those countries. We ourselves did not, and we are not enhancing and ensuring that our laws are binding to all, including foreign nationals. So indeed, we need to work around. As municipality, we shall have to come with what we call bylaws. But as the provincial government and national government, we also need to make sure that we and I'm sure you might have seen that the Minister of Home Affairs is doing his best to try and contain where he can the issue of foreign nationals. But we're dealing with the issue of workers, and I think I spoke to Ntate Potso about it not long ago. And we came to realize that our workers are actually not in control of the space given to them. They agreed that they will take 90% of the occupation of the hawking stalls, and they'll give away 10%. But they came to us crying to say the situation is the other way around. 90% is foreign national, 10% are hawkers from our side. But digging deep into what happened, you realize that Madlamini Masputla Leti for Lisillo gave away their licenses to foreign nationals, our own people. So we create we create problems for our own selves. That is now on the side of what we need to call to order, but also make sure that we strengthen our bylaws. So we have taken it upon ourselves to say, we'll have to come into this issue of hawkers and balance the equation. But the hawkers associations are lame and not equal the challenge. They've confessed. I'm not actually criticizing them. I'm conveying what they actually exposed before us to say, please intervene. I reckon, Comrade Potso, the pattern applies also to the taxi industry and other related industries, including the ones that I was talking about, the hair salons and other related business opportunities. We have given away, and we keep on giving away what belongs to us. Rona from our side, Brasipo, is to enhance and enforce the bylaws and also make sure that we enhance the laws of the country. But we can only succeed if our people are not going to step us at the back and do the opposite of what we're going to try and put in place. I think that that answered the first question. The second one was not a question. I think the second one was more from Bongani, business opportunities, and I think it's in line and in keeping with the mission and vision of today. So that one I really can't say much, and he got a standing ovation on it, and it's what we're looking forward to. Thank you.
They are shooting you from behind. No, it's okay. Okay, comrades, let's give comrades a bite on the matter. You wanted to contribute on cannabis.
You want me to contribute? Look, cannabis have two elements, which is the THC and the CBD, which generally, okay. Cannabis, in fact, is one of the things when we talk about diversification we must focus on, because the actual fiber that you can find out of cannabis can be used for many things, including building materials and so many other things. So the Office of the Regional Treasurer would welcome that presentation. I'm not sure when, but it's urgent that you must come to our office. I wouldn't say much. That is a good submission. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'm thinking, Comrade Sipo, that house is going to be very high. Ne? That is built cannabis. Okay, colleagues, it was two questions. Ne? I'm going to take the rest. Where's my number 3? Yes, leadership, you can come here.
Dumelang. My name is Bongani Hu. Okay. I'm an agriculturalist now. My company deals more with developing agricultural systems to support youth in particular. What I'm asking from the leadership, I'm asking that though we are talking much about agriculture and what is it that you can do, can we at least support our youth by providing land? Can the municipality itself support our young farmers to manufacture and to produce quality produce from the primary production? We can't be talking that agriculture days, vegetable gardens and what, whereby South Africa is facing a serious crisis when it comes to food security. I want to open or I want to manufacture sunflower oil. But this sunflower oil, where am I going to get it if white farmers are not willing to sell the sunflower oil to us? But if we have farmers that are being subsidized by government to produce crops like your maize, your sunflower, that produce must be given back to young manufacturers to improve production locally, provincially, nationally. And another thing is that we cannot longer allow the government to subsidize those who are not willing to advance. And we need young farmers to take over. Now the company, my company, is now trying to partner with a company called EGVO organization. They collect data on behalf of the government or on behalf of other states. This company, what they're trying to create is to improve the data of production of food in each and every country. But how are we going to achieve that in South Africa? We need to create a system that connects the government and the farmers, the extension officers, and to know which farmer, where he is, what is he doing, when, how much is being paid or subsidized to improve him every day. But that data is not there. But the government is spending and spending on individuals who are not even willing to improve anything. Please, leadership, can we not just talk and implement things and support youth? I'm here today. I'm an activist in agriculture. I'm not a politician, but I'm an activist in agriculture speaking on behalf of those who want to produce food, who want to see the food security of this country taking place. That you spoke about white people who are not supporting us. We can't be using a top-down strategy or a bottom-up strategy. We must improve ourselves so that they see that we are doing something. Only then they will come and tap into that market.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Madam. Thank you. Major, I think Rabana colleagues who are building the economy. Ne? We now have two sectors, the cannabis sector and agricultural sector. And then we have people in here who are able to participate. Thank you so much. Let me go for my fourth one, and then after that, Major, then I will give you to respond. The fourth one is our pattern. Do you have?
I don't think it's a question, but then I think basically more the businesses, all of us. Oh, okay. Sorry. The businesses, most of us. And honali youth, whereby Habana get a lawyer or create a business. You understand? So now there are those things called non-profit organizations, whereby they are working with substance abuse, those kids whereby they share the drugs. And they are doing, I'm one of them, they are doing awarenesses curriculum about the substance abuse. So, in terms of funding, because of you can go to social development, while we are working with social development, they're going to tell you we don't have budget for this thing. So for funding, like for instance, we know very much next week, it's a Mandela month, whereby youth, yourself, is supposed to give, support to our elders, whereby we're supposed to clean and such. There's this NGO comes from Cape Town called PSH. It hires 500 youth here in Free State, whereby different regions. You understand? So now they create job by doing that because of the stipend whereby that are. Why they are doing that? Bahula bacha to this thing they be by the substances. Because of eventually if onale this stigma for then you choose or no. Substances. That's the best idea. So now I just want to know those people but of mana to so juang. Myself, I have my own non-profit organization, of which by next month I will be participating, doing activities whereby I'm helping, young guys to do creativities and do such. But then by next month, we're going to give back to the communities. As well as last month, I was giving back to the communities with food parcels. How do I get help with that?
Thank you very much. Responses, leadership, Comrade Sipo. No, Comrade Sipo first. Thank you.
I would like to speak to the issue of central points of distribution, but I think that I'm going to speak with the mayor. As we are going to Botshabelo, I think Tabanchu Botshabelo, we've got areas there which are not used. And Bongani's, what's your name again? Bongani Ndlovu. No, not Bongani Ndlovu. Bongani Huhu. He's raising an issue of where these farmers would be supported. But firstly, we should ask, where is the feed that would buy the product of the farmers? Now, you need to create a central point where all these farmers can be able to deposit their product. Earlier, we were talking about the Mangaung, we were talking about the Mangaung fresh produce market. How many of you are players in that market? Do we need to create a new market for you to be able to actually, introduce your product? Do we have to create new networks for that product? Because we cannot be talking about white and black. Yeah, the ANC is a multiracial organization. We must create opportunities and create the feed that will be able to use the product that we're creating. Now, we have tuck shops that we are having in every ward. How many of those tuck shops can we use as the direct drivers of the product that we are creating? So these are the things that the mayor must eventually talk to. That are we going to create new spaces where agricultural businesses would deposit their product? But that product, what would be the buy market that would then be buying into that product? Because it's useless to produce maize, but you do not have the market to actually to buy that maize. That's where then you would find that the monopoly will take over. Because monopoly works like that. It will create a space where there's no space for small business, and then once that monopoly is being created, your product becomes a useless product that is bought out of nothing. We've got people that are having, cattle and things towards Tabanchu. If you have to look at how Sparta and many of these businesses are buying into that product, you then realize that the price they are paying for their cattle and the price that Sparta is actually circulating that product into the market, you'd find there's a vast difference, including those that are producing milk. You'll find that you are actually selling your milk at 3 rands, but somebody goes and packages your milk, homogenize the milk, and then sell that product into the market. But when it gets to the market, the same product is sold at 15 rands. So that's where we need to come in and then start thinking, how do we create these industries? Because it's a chain. And once that chain is created, it means then we must be clear from the mayor's point of view, what is a strategic view, what is a regional strategic point that we must achieve in terms of the end product that is created by the farmers. In terms of the NGOs, I think the ANC government, including, different sectors like international market, is prepared. I mean, who was asking the questions? You, comrade. I will share with you a number of funding, boards that can assist you in terms of international market, that looks in terms of assisting, NGOs in terms of a particular product that they're dealing with. Maybe if you're dealing with kids or maybe kids with certain disabilities and things like that, whatever that we are doing, there is those NGOs that you can deal with. And we'll assist you in that. You can speak to Comrade Tinani. Yeah. He will be able to assist you on that.
Thank you, Leadership. Major, do you want to take a bite?
I just want to, let me, on the agric part of it, I think we need to busy ourselves to understand the government's policy with regard to opportunities that are there. I can bet you now, we are not knocking at doors that are supposed to be on our side when we've created policies that must accommodate us. And you need to be a problem in order to realize your right. You just have to be a problem, especially when it is inside government policy. Just be a problem. Problematize the venture. To be specific, there is the Department of Rural Development, specifically created to address the issue of land. And in that department, there are targeted groups. Youth and women are number 1. Youth and women are number 1. Now you need to aggressively go to that department and demand to give you land, because the government is issuing out land for those that have got an interest in the agricultural sector. But you also need to also dig deep into what is expected of us when land is given to us. What I can tell is that a sizable portion of land has been given to our people. But you know what our people did when they got the land? They sold the animals that they were given with that land. They sold the equipment that were given with that land. And they rented the land to white farmers for production. Then they collect a certain gratia amount on a yearly basis, subject to the product that would have come out of that land. That's what our people are doing. But, you know, don't just criticize, because these are people who are at a particular age. You need to begin to dig deep as to what is it, what actually forces them to take that route. And one of the key critical elements that dictate that attitude is knowledge economy. Knowledge economy. So you have got the energy to dig deep into what is it that you do when you have the land on your side. So please go to that department. Group yourself, and they're not giving plots. You know, I'm not talking about hectares, a hectare or two. I'm talking about sizable hectares, 1,500 hectares and so. Some are even giving animals. You have seen what Saki has been doing lately, the MEC, giving out animals to young South Africans to, and interesting enough, those animals are even pregnant already. So actually, when they give you 10, you already have 20, but the other 10 it still has to show. All what you have to do is to nurture it. So please, let's reach out. Let's reach out and make sure that we get that. And then on substance abuse and what did you call them? The NGOs. That's a must, you know. That's a problem that we are sitting with. I don't think it's an answer that can just relate to the issue of funding. I think it's the answer that's needed is a lasting solution that must come to all of us. So I think this issue must just not be where would the money come from. Is what strategies are we going to develop to be in place in order to curb the element of substance abuse? It's quite involved. This issue is quite involved. It really is involved. I think on modalities of where funds can be sourced, SIPO would come up with he has actually indicated that he'll come forward with that.
Yes.
But I'm inviting you, all of you, together with us, to really work on what is the best modality to curb substance abuse, because that destroys the society. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Colleagues, I'm moving faster because people are getting hungry now. And a hungry man is a very dangerous man. Where's my number 5? You are here. No, they are here. They are here. Thank you.
Dumelambo Makom. Kalibso Kidibu saying, company akaki good value. Ntatwaka nikiputana high ebe. Gets a cleaning service. Kiboni body stadium, body parking, body tila. So nikiputana high be kibatla with taupa. Nakia hokai. Eh.
Thank you. Thank you, we appreciate it. Thank you. Where's my number 6 so that we can get a response?
Dumelang. Kalibitso ke Maleshwane Dichabe. I have 2, I'm not sure if there are questions or comments. My first one, Dr. Majoro, you mentioned an issue at the business plan and giving them to the relevant people for funding. Now, if a young person comes with a business plan that's viable, now, I'm a young person, can I have a viable business plan? I take it to a potential funder. Now, Bampatla security. How can I be assisted in that? Because you'd find, Hore, I don't have security, but I have a very good business plan. I have a viable business plan. The business makes sense. Number two, ke kopa ho there's a piece of land that we wanted to develop. Now we found out the metro has turned it into a park, but it looks nothing like a park. Ntate Manu olabua issue ya hore Bloemfontein is a drive-through state. There is no tourism activity in this province. In this city, rather. Now, we wanted to develop that park, which used to be a coal yard back in the day. We wanted to put up a boutique hotel. There were funders who were ready for us to put up a boutique hotel, create a precinct. Kamobatu. There's rich history. Yeah. Our political party in this town, but we're not telling the story. There are tour operators who take people from Gauteng, Babaisa, Clarence. They will never take anybody from Gauteng and bring them here. There are international tourists who come and want to explore our country, but they don't come to Bloemfontein because there is nothing to do. Now we wanted to create a precinct where we create jobs even for young people in the location. But the issue is getting back the land, and how do we go about it? Because the land was there, it was turned into a park, but now it's not a park, it's just an avenue for criminal activity. So can we get assistance in that regard? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mary Chabe. Major.
I don't know, the question on cleaning, it had two excerpts. It had element of volunteerism, and it also had an element of opportunity. Yeah. But let me answer it this way. Necessarily cleaning would be one arm that will help many of you to thrive and begin to see the horizons of coming through into business. But cleaning has got a number of pockets in it. One, the municipality has got a component of staff that they've employed that must do cleaning. But that staff is not performing to its maximal. It's not. There are a number of factors here. And I'm not going to bore this meeting with those factors because it is actually part of what made us to come late. We're handling it. But in this game, there is what we call fixing of pipes, unblocking of sewer, closing of potholes, water leakages. All those pose as some window of opportunity. But let's tell you what people do when we get them into that game. In the night, they go around with hammers and hit the pipes to leak so that we must hire them the following day. That's what happened. And then they go blocking sewers so that there must be the spillages that you see. Apart from our aging infrastructure, they block sewers so that tomorrow morning when we wake up, we must hire them to now come in and block sewers. See? Now, the avenue of using some of these opportunities becomes limited, which now forces us to stop the tenderizing some of the work that the municipal workers can do. Because once you put them to tender, people have got a way of creating even opportunities for themselves. So that's one of the problems that we're faced with. But that doesn't stop us from looking at what is it that we can do, including the element of cleaning, by the way. We would not look away and say, we can't access your services where your services is needed. But we need to avoid a situation where we must be blackmailed. At a higher scale, there are people who go and buy those that guard or are operating our trucks to break them so that we must hire their trucks. It's a problem we're faced with. You need to help, but now they sabotage you. They sabotage municipal infrastructure in order for you to access their services. It happens with trucks that you are having. But it also happens with those that would then therefore would say, subject the trucks to an auction so that they must buy them and come back and tender with those trucks to us again. And this does not has to do with what we want to promote. These are some kind of complex syndicates that may not even provide opportunities that we're talking about. So those are some of the things that we're dealing with. But safe to say, we have a fiduciary duty to intervene to your upliftment. We do have. We do have. You know, I think we need to name and shame at some point some of those institutions that we have created that are not acceding to the expectation. We've got what we call FDC, we've got CEDA, we've got a number of institutions that must come to the rescue of emerging and growing business. We've got those institutions. But I've realized those institutions are even harsher than financial institutions that are established. They want, some of them, they end up wanting you in order to get a loan. You get that? No, they say you must now bring what you don't even have. Because now so So we need to take that punch and say that question says to us, go back and get your institutions right so that they must intervene. Because I can't ignore that question and say and look for an answer elsewhere when I know that there are answers that should come from those institutions, and want to ridicule the young lady and say there are institutions, go to them. As a matter of fact, I'm putting it factually to say I understand her plight and frustration. So the honors are with us to go back and open sesame, you know, and get things right. But on the issue of land and portions of where you would want to deal with development, I can't answer that spot on. We need to look at what that piece of land, its location, and what plans were there. You might find that you are talking to apply on it, on what you are planning to do. You might find that there are 10 more other applications that are there on the land. So it will be futile and unnecessary for me to give a spot-on answer. Safe to say, we need indeed development. Yes, indeed, we need tourist attractive centers that can promote our city and our history. You are right, we've got a very rich history in this city. So yes, we are looking forward to that. But you and me can discuss about that land here. There are places where you must go and throw your weight. The avenues are open, please. Go check if that land is available, then put a compelling business plan. We can discuss at the level of what you are not going to put when you have satisfied yourself that the land is available. Good.
Thank you, Major. Comrade Sipo, before you speak, Comrade Sipo, Comrade Vusi wants to say something. Huh?
Maybe, Majoro, the firm advice I would give to you. The reason why sometimes we leave parks open is because we want the city to breathe. I get most night lungs. We want it to breathe. That's the first reason. The second reason, a park, sometimes it might be a servitude. Yes, we leave park because of a servitude. Sometimes, ke wetland, I don't develop. But like Majoro asked, I will give you a direct office where you go. You go to the 8th floor, Class Palace, GIS office. They will tell you, ki into you. But una lento wa bitsa ki di conscious. Ba ba go fele di conscious sa teng gore na ki eng problem e teng mo. So that when you take a decision, you take a decision being informed. Thank you.
No, you wanna say something? You wanna go about the
No. I appreciate your suggestion that maybe it will be advisable that next time you must bring captain of industries to interact with these young people. I appreciate your suggestion.
Definitely, Professor. Thank you, Majoro. That was number 6. Colleagues, let me just make a passing statement. We are forming Mangaung Economic Forum. I want to remind you. I know there are people who want to put like a zip line, go Neville Hill. There are people who want to use that old swimming pool, Arthur Nathan and all of that. People like Boshek Kumal and all. That is why ANC created Mangaung Economic Forum. And I have a economic agents. In that sense, we can actually be able to talk to people who understand investment, capital investment. So we're moving there. Eh? And then lastly, the sectors that we like, hospitality and tourism. What's your name? Mpaise ubuile ka di NGO. Ne? One of the concept of social enterprises, or you can actually use NPO ele business somehow. So we're getting somewhere. And thank you so much, colleagues. You know, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about the way Lobotandi Puzo is so progressive. Thank you so much. Let's move to my number 7 way. Okay, but you are not supposed to be from this side. Number 7, this side.
Yeah, I can now.
Oh, you know, pass out.
Revolutionary greetings, everyone. My name is Mzwanele Zito. I run a company called United Youth Electrical. I do installation and maintenance of electricity, and I'm a qualified electrician. And I'm also studied electrical engineering, so I know what I'm doing. And you know, there's been some talk that if you are innovative in your business, you'll get business. So since I'm studied, I can maneuver in creativity in my business. And one of the things that I'm proud of, like I'm saying, is I am a electrician and I'm studied and I'm qualified. But the thing that really challenges me is that, you know, sometimes when you look for business, you are not able to find business. And you are registered in CSD, and your tax clearance is okay, everything is okay, and you are not getting an opportunity. What I'm trying to say is that I know that you will tell me that you are working on a rotation basis in terms of the people that are in your database. But when is going to be our term? And I know that some young people don't use this opportunity of grabbing that opportunity of doing business with government with their hands, you know. But some of us want to use that opportunity. So can that rotation basis, can it move accordingly? Because some of us, everything is sorted. You know, since it's Youth Month, we must remember that the struggle of of young people of then. They were facing a death-defying struggle in terms of Bantu education, you know. So right now, we want us to have a playing field leveled in terms of economic participation, you know. So can that playing field be leveled for some of us? And lastly, I want to say that, you know, without unity, there will be no progress, you know. So let's unify moving forward, moving this vehicle of business youth forum. And I want to say that I'm looking forward to be working with you, all of you. And congratulations on your appointments. And yes, I really am looking forward to be working with you. No, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, colleagues, let me make another passing statement before I continue. Malik, there are two things here. If you ask your question here, Anajwal, it's nice, Wawan. But if you participate in the forum, it becomes a program. It becomes a plan. So you are not compelled to ask a question, but we appreciate your question. But because when you come to cannabis, it becomes a program of the forum. We are Mangaung Economic Forum that is attached to the municipality. So it's also a or maybe you know it's not going to be like that. Because my boss is going to leave flight. I postpone a flight. I don't want him to postpone it for the second time. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to communicate with you. I'm organizing a roundtable discussion with him to say, comrades, people, I don't will go breakfast in Southern Sun, Wabua go like. So what is the way forward? The forum in a structure, colleagues, in a structure, and then it is sector based. In a tourism, you know, that is why I'm so excited when you are raising these issues. Now, where are we going to put them? So, Major, one of those structures that we are talking about, I was waiting in KZN. I only arrived, I slept for 1 hour. When I went to the Center for Entrepreneurship, Muteu TVET College, yes, the Department of Higher Education. So there are many other interventions like that that are available. But information, you spoke about information economy. We are unable to get to these things because what's about opportunity. So in the forum, we are putting them all. I did not know a structure called Development Bank of Southern Africa or eating Arab Fontaine. So Gara Forum is a program. Then I every month to say it is so. On that issue, cannabis, how far are we? No, receipt application, and then our MMC will be here to be able to assist us from time to time. Are we happy, colleagues? Thank you so much. Because I really have to cut a number of hands. But immediately after this, while we are eating, it will be a networking session. We can be able to ask. But please come to the forum so that we can be able to raise your issues there. Are we okay? Thank you so much. Number, man? Number 8. Ne? Where is number 8? Oh, okay. In L7, when you are 8. 8, Lapa.
Okay, dumelang. Kopa ko kala pele ka o leboha ANC ka monyetla ona hore re tlo bua mona nane. So nna ke tlhokomelo ga mogakane ke tswa company ya BR Contractors. I'm in the construction industry.
So colleagues, get out advice from the floor. Please make your questions to be succinct.
Okay.
At least 60. Go direct to the proposal or question.
Yes.
No motivation and stuff like that.
Yeah. So the point I want to raise is that in this construction industry, about foreigners. We have a lot of foreigners in this industry, whereby we have our big guys who get these big tenders. But when you go to their sites, you find people from Lesotho working there. Then we are told that our youth is lazy. Our youth is not lazy. We have people who can do plumbing, tiling, anything that can mention in construction, Mobo Shabela, anywhere. We have guys who can do those things. But when you go to these big sites, you find these people are using cheap labor. People from Lesotho, Zimbabwe, for instance. So we need to find a way to channel people in the right way so that these guys who are getting these big tenders, because they have the funds for those tenders, they need to create job for the youth. The problem that we see with this unemployment is because people who are having this big money to get these big jobs, they are not employing the youth in construction. You have people who with certificates in that onale motakas, but hatole span. But if you go to site, you find a guy from Zimbabwe wiring a whole school. Well, we have people like him in our country. I have guys, Mokasi, with certificates, plumbing certificates, tiling certificates, welding certificates. They are sitting at home without jobs. But the government is giving out tenders to the big people out there. But the opportunities for us as people of this country are not there. And then the other thing is, our youth is not lazy. Sorry for being long, Tati. Our youth is not lazy. Our youth lacks one thing. That's information. We need information centers, mokas. People don't know how to register a business, a simple business. They don't know how to draw up a business plan. They don't know where to go to ask certain questions, because we can't wait for meetings like this just for us to have that interaction with you guys. We are thankful for it, but we can't wait 6 months or a year just to come and ask these questions. You understand? So we require the information center mokasi, where, because everywhere I go, people see me, how can I do this? I have to give that information. Whereas if there used to be Love Life back then, I don't know if you guys will remember that. Love Life was giving information, a lot of information to youth, but it died out. It died out. So mokasi, people using drugs because the drugs. Because information you understand? So you can find the information center. I don't care who runs it or whatever, but it's a necessity. People have to know where to go and ask these questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Colleagues, do we have IT people in here? But what ICT? Do we have ICT? But what computer? Do we have? Are you aware Elon Musk created an AI called ChatGPT? Do you know about it? Do you know you can just ask ChatGPT, register me a company in South Africa? It will give you the steps immediately. You can do it now if you can. Right? Because we must avoid Tokomelo. Infrastructure is a problem, Comrade Vus. Spend less time on WhatsApp and go to decide to check information again. Information as CIPC to register a business, you get it in 3 seconds. Right? So that we can move and then we can be faster with these things. But more FDC, CIPC in Bloemfontein, we're able to register a company in 4 hours. There are people who register companies for you, but the center had to close because FDC were repositioning the building to one-stop investment, something completely. But the computers are still there because one was broken, was not for CIPC to fix it. So we'll keep on sharing this information. This is what the forum is about. Does it make sense? Information sharing, right? Thank you so much, colleagues. Now, number 9. There's no number 9. I'm moving this side. I'm taking only 5 now. Okay. Oh, because of advice is. You are number 1, my brother. My sister back there, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Yes. If you promise me to be succinct, after my sister there, I will take more hands. Yes, let's hit it. Number 1.
Oh, yeah. Ke a leboha. Lebitso la ka ke Moses Ntonyane. Ke a utlwahala? Oh, yes. Ke batla hore fela not many people are talking about student accommodation. And I learned from an unverifiable source that student accommodation is a 13 million rand industry in South Africa. There's been violent protests in Bloemfontein, in Qwaqwa, Velkom, where students were fighting for student accommodations and money is not being paid by NSFAS and DHET because of guidelines that are there in place. And so my fear would be, and I know that the mayor, I know that there's an institution called NEF, there's IDC. I don't want to talk about FDC because they would want things that I cannot even give. I wouldn't be able to provide FDC with the money that they would want for them to assist me. Now, my fear would be if I bring a working business plan, a viable business plan to NEF or IDC, would it not be possible for them to take my business plan and give it to some other person and reject my application, but give my business idea to someone else so that on the hindsight, someone is benefiting from the idea that I came up with? And so we came to this with the intention of really getting to speak to the mayor, speak to the ANC and say, can you guard the process for us? Because we don't trust the institutions themselves to really give what we want. So without wasting time and to give space for other people to contribute, we as young people, as people perceive us as lazy and all, are not. But the dialogues, the workshops are not going to assist us. We need one and only one thing. Chelet. We attended the workshop since 2008, 2009. Today we're attending workshops. We get certificates, but we still don't have the money to do what we want to do. There's nothing that you can tell me other than giving me money for me to implement the business idea I have in my mind. So for now, the education is enough. The training is enough. We want money, give us money so that we start businesses and move forward.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. One of the important things that you must do when you have an idea is to trademark the idea. Once you've... Comrade, are you listening? Yeah, one of the things that you must do is to trademark your idea. Because if you give me your idea and your idea is good and it's an idea that will make money for me, you must know also I'm a businessman. I might think otherwise. People are not ethical today. So it is important that when you have these good business ideas, at least, there's a lot of law firms that can actually, license your intellectual property. Before you give it to anybody, trademark it, license it. I mean, we know what has happened with Bafana, where Bafana for all these years was trading. Somebody else decided to take that and use it as his own. And today Bafana had to pay, SAFA had to pay 5 million or so to get back that name, which is, it has royalty in it. So whenever you want to license something, at least appreciate, trademark it, and then that's it. In terms of money issues, Comrade Gregor, I think you must answer that.
Yeah, yeah, but stealing of people's ideas is actually rife. It's common and rife. I come from this background, so I've seen it live. So we'll also try and develop some modalities of how we can also curb it at the level of where we are. It does happen. There's an issue of the information center. I think it's a matter that we are going to take, because the information that must be in there is not an information that must deal with what the municipality can provide, but it must be an information center that is armed with all possible answers to everyone. You know what? You know why we are not at class for now as youth? Because you don't share the common economic interest. Some of you want to be doctors, others want to be this, others to be that. But then the information center must also be armed with all those invariables, all those pockets of knowledge. But that's the best advice as well that we must look into. You want money? Yeah, but I did criticize some of those pockets that should actually be unleashing money to the ideas that we are commanding. So I thought maybe that was a take-home as an item that we must go and invoke other institutions that are not efficient and effective to begin to live to their expectation. I thought I said so, but I can see the edge for the money. We'll do our best. I think that's the best answer I can give you. We'll do our best because the matter resides mainly with the Department of Economic Affairs, which is a provincial competency. But we are one unitary state, so we shall have to go and fiddle with them. But we'll be doing so with that interest of making sure that the resource needed in our territorial space are accessed. You know, there is this thing of also the municipality giving the municipal accounts to financial institutions. I do not know, and I wouldn't want to accuse people, but I think what we need to do, Mavusan, is Chief Whip, is that we must also look at those companies, financial institutions, that will actually relax their financial aid to our programs, subject to us agreeing to give them our accounts. You get the point? They can't just have, because our accounts command resources that are a serious spin-off for a given financial institution. So it's the muscle we have. And we can actually begin to also use that muscle to open sesame, you know, open doors for our youth, yeah. So that's the kind of practical action that I think we need to enter into.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Mayor. The comrades, let me just check with you. Chaba, what's happening? Because Kikamuna. No good. Eh. And it's a problem that's in me. Colleagues, what I'm going to give Comrade Lockman to contribute to the discussion. Major, I think the business chambers, they fought at the national level for a long time. The funding, believe me, funding is there. Like in the Free State alone, we have close to about 2 billion in business funding. That is in IDC, NEF, CIFA, you mentioned it. The money is here. But the challenge is that they are development finance institutions. So they are using that instrument. But it is a National Credit Act to fund business. So until such time that we can convince DTI, or we must go to Parliament and change the law, rebel legislation in our business. Because if I can create 10,000 work opportunities, why are you punishing me because it's a Patala sales house? Right? So long for among colleagues, let's have discussions. I understand. There are ways of actually. Yeah, I'm old. So I was just throwing the spinner in the discussion. Leadership, you are here.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good day, Executive Mayor.
Please come in so that you can go into.
Okay. Center. I wanted to basically tell you, Executive Mayor, about a joke in the same lines, but I will tell you, I'll come to your office and tell you that joke for the sake of time. But it's also about a wolf and this hyena, né? But it's in addition to your joke. But comrades, young entrepreneurs, the mayor has touched on, the fact that he will ensure that we look at the funding mechanisms to assist you. And yes, you don't have a lot of information that exists out there. Basically, for any idea that you may have, there are an incentive. Those incentives are sitting at the DTIC. They are sitting, in many of these national departments and sectors and so on. So I have a list here of incentives. Now I need to stand in the center, so I can't read it. But in the January 8th statement for those of you who took the time to read that statement, the ANC mentions a number of sectors that you can engage in, like your fourth industrial revolution issues, like your AI and so on, your green economy, your agriculture, manufacturing, and so on. And for all those sectors, all those things, there are incentives available. Now, I'm wearing this attire because I am going somewhere after this. I can't tell you where, but it's my secret. But so I also work at the municipality. Now, besides the fact that we don't have the necessary funding at the moment, we do work with the other spheres of government. We work with the provincial sphere of government. We also work with the national sphere of government. That's your national small business department and all those other departments where there are incentives. So you may not know, hence you have challenges, to access funding. We also serve as a link, between local government, the community, and those other different spheres of government and those different departments. So, Executive Mayor, most probably we did not have time to brief you properly about all the things we do, but yes, we also do that. And in some instances, yes, we have to begin to engage on the issue of this red tape. Our Executive Mayor touched on it because it is rather stringent. And we experienced it during the COVID-19 period. During that period, national government had a whole number of programs in which they launched in the quest to try to stop businesses from closing, small businesses and your medium and your large businesses. We also had SARS with those relaxed tax incentives. We had your Department of Labor, UIF, and so on, assisting businesses. But clearly it was not enough. It's just never enough. And when you go and look at the statistics at national level for Free State, that is now who of us apply and get funding. Free State and Northern Cape, Executive Mayor, always, those statistics are always the lowest, and I just don't know why. Maybe, yes, as you have alluded to, it may be this issue of dissemination of information to all of you. But what I have also experienced is that small entrepreneurs, they struggle, or maybe they don't like this administrative process. Filling the forms, bringing all the documents and all those things. But that is something we can work on. But I just want to say to you that don't lose hope, because there's an incentive for each and every idea. I have gone and researched it. So it's just up to you to come forward. SEDA registers small businesses. We also do that, but with us you have to pay because we don't have that funding. But we have the capacity to register your business and so on. So you must never feel lost in this whole jungle of trying to enter into this space of becoming an entrepreneur, because it is not really so difficult. I think the biggest thing also is not to sit in your corner and stress on your own. You must reach out. Ne? Yeah. In conclusion, Chair, I think that's all from my side for now.
Thank you so much, Comrade Rockman. Thank you. Colleagues, are you in a position to negotiate?
Yeah.
Can you do that? Thank you. Negotiation is that we have to close off the session. But for comrades who had questions, you are actually saying to me, organize a roundtable as soon as possible. Like I said to you, when we are asking here, Chief Whip, leadership will know. But when we are in a formalized sector like a forum, they are recorded. So, because even the owners of the place, we paid until 2. And my budget is very low to extend. So this is how it's going to work. There's food at the bottom. Ka fatshe ka mole, ne? But the food is only for comrades who did not book. You did not RSVP. Because comrades people had to come through for us, and then for all colleagues, because let me tell you why it is RSVP. The mandate that was given by Comrade Bongani Mazula, the head of stakeholders, was to say, assist us to collect information from stakeholders. Does it make sense? So we have stakeholders here like Mangaung Service Delivery Forum. Are you here? Mangaung into a Small Business Association. And also the chamber. So you'll remain in this hall, Puzo. But we are not segregating colleagues. We are not. We are trying to save the situation because had a mandate increase, then we experience a bit of a problem. Safe to say, next time when we have programs of this kind, please RSVP, comrades. Please RSVP. Because the mandate that we got for our Office of the Regional Treasurer is that we have to operate commercially like a business. So I love you so much. Thank you so much for attending today. If you need information regarding the forum, the structure of the forum, when is it sitting, or even only the proposal, please don't go. Come back, Gamo. You can get your foot and come back. Does it make sense? Yeah, so that we can network and share about issues and all of that. Thank you so much.